Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Red Shadow's favorite games. I am the Red Shadow, and I'm back after a couple of days. It's been a long couple of days this week. It's been really hard to sit down and make videos with other things going on in my life, but one of the nice things about this channel is I've come to realize that it's doing exactly what it is that I wanted it to do. I want to come and sit down and make videos. I want to talk and express myself, and like I said in the beginning, I don't care if anybody watches this. I appreciate those who have, though. I've gained some subscribers. Most of the people who subscribe to me are, personal friends or online friends. I don't know that I've really gained too many in the way of subscribers who've just saw one of my videos pop up on the sidebar or whatever in a search. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to those who do watch this, but one way or another, I just like to sit down and talk in front of this camera for no reason whatsoever. So anyway, I decided I'm going to do one, maybe even two of my favorite games videos, and today I'm highlighting another one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games, and that game is Kingsfield 2. Hopefully the glare won't be too bad. Actually looks pretty good. Kingsfield 2 for the PlayStation 1. This is one of my first favorites from the PlayStation 1. This is 1996, so this actually came out, I think, before I picked up my first PlayStation 1. I say first, my only PlayStation 1. And I didn't really know what to think about this. If I had to wager a guess, I probably rented this game just because it looked interesting before I actually got to sit down and play it. Which, I guess before I get too much more into this, I do want to, as I always do, I like to show off anything related to a game. This is Kingsfield 1 in one of those old classic big boxes. This is another one of my little offshoot collections I want to work on. I want a complete PlayStation 1 collection someday. That's never going to happen. There's just some incredibly rare titles to try to find, but as long as I'm working at it, I mean, this is like over 2,000 games we're talking, so I always have something I can pick up here and there. But I want to get all of the big box games that I can possibly get too. And this was a really, really nice one that I picked up. And then this is my, once again, not one, but two copies of the Kingsfield 2 strategy guide. This is the Prima strategy guide. I ended up with two. I don't remember exactly how. I think I got one on its own, and I think the other one was in a lot of strategy guides that I picked up on eBay. So whatever. Hey, it's my favorite, or one of, no, not my favorite, but one of my favorite PS1 games and games of all time. Why not have two strategy guides? But anyway, back to Kingsfield 2. I think that Kingsfield 2 is really Kingsfield 3. This is one of those weird ones, kind of like the releases of the Final Fantasy games on the Super Nintendo. We get a Final Fantasy 3 here in the States, but that was actually Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, and then later on it kind of all got sorted out. I think that the Kingsfield 2 numbered games here in the U.S. they don't correspond to the way they were released in Japan. Or if I'm wrong, correct me. But anyway, to the game itself. Like I said, I think I rented it once. I sat down to play it. I didn't, know what the game was all about. And what it ends up being is, in my opinion, kind of a precursor to a game like the Elder Scrolls games, in that Oblivion and Morrowind and Skyrim and any future iterations, I'm sure, are like a first-person viewpoint role-playing game. It's just two basic gaming concepts put together in one. Kingsfield 2 did that back in 1996. Kingsfield 1 did that back in 1995. You get the first-person viewpoint, and you see your character's hands, and whether you're wielding a sword and a shield or an axe or something like that, or casting spells, you just see your hands in front of you, throwing the sword around, blasting enemies with magic. And you, like I said, you never see your character beyond the limbs that pop up in front of you. Now, this leads me to my one and only complaint about Kingsfield 2. And a lot of these games from... Who is this? This is ASCII Entertainment, but it's From Software, I believe, is the actual developer? I don't know. But a lot of the games that they did, the Kingsfield series, I'm blanking all of a sudden now on the other game, Echo Knight. There's some sort of like a Shadow Tower or something like that. They put out a bunch of different games in that time frame that kind of had the same mechanic to them. They're very, very slow. Even if you go into the settings and turn the movement speed up, they're very, very slow. So to enjoy this game, you've got to be able to put up with the fact that your character's going to creep along for most of the game. And that can get on my nerves at times, especially I think with age. So many games nowadays are just, bam, they just go in and you move and you can run and you can fly and you can drive. When you go back to a game like this that makes you kind of plod around slowly, it can get on your nerves. But those first few times I played this game, you know, it like engraved this game on my heart that it was going to be one of my favorites. I'm going to have to refer to the back again, though, to get myself reacquainted with the lore, because it's been so long since I played it. It says, your kingdom is once again under attack by the ruthless minions of evil. This time they have possessed King Alfred himself. As the king's son, Prince Lyle, you must bring forth the tide of change that will affect the universe from now until the end of time. The fate of the world is in your hands. So that tells you a little bit more about it. You're the prince, and you're basically saving the kingdom. One of my favorite parts of the game, though, was there was like a hint of a love story there. Your character encounters a female, I think she's like another kingdom's royalty of some sort, and you get a little bit of a backstory there between the two of them, and so that's nice. I just like the story touches on games like this, because for the most part, it's sort of a dungeon crawler. You're exploring the land, whether you're up above or down below in dungeons. You explore all over the place. Now, the game has a lot of secrets, a lot of places that you can find that cause you to want to go and explore. And that was another one of my favorite aspects of the game, was how much you could go around inside of dungeons and basically just hug the walls, clicking the interact button until a door opens up in front of you, and you can go inside and kill a creature of some sort, but you might find a weapon or an item or whatever. You know, nowadays, if games have a secret in them, they have to have like this massive payoff. Every time you go into a room or around a corner and do something here or there, everybody expects the game to give you something for doing it. And sometimes in these kinds of games, you know, you still get an item or whatever, but it's not that big of a deal. It's just a matter that you explored intrepidly enough that you would unlock, you know, a secret room somewhere that nobody else would have seen, because they gave you no hints back in those days. A lot of games nowadays will show some sort of a silhouette around the door, or there'll be a glow to something. Games nowadays hold your hand so much, and that's extremely almost hypocritical of me to complain that games are too easy, because I've said many, many times that I'm not the best gamer, and I enjoy games that are easy, but I just enjoy games that are easy overall. There's still a challenge to them, but eventually you can succumb to, or you can defeat the challenge instead of succumbing to it. Nowadays, the games basically tell you, walk down the stairs, go over there, talk to that person, get that item. There's so much hand-holding in a lot of today's games that I think we've went from super tough to super easy, and I just liked easy right in here in the middle. But anyways, Kingsfield 2 is, I don't know, I just think it's a game that's well worth partaking in. And There were other games after this. There was one or two PlayStation 2 games. I don't think that I have them. I think I have some other games from this company. Once again, I'm trying to remember the name of this one. I do have one over here on the shelf, but my living room is kind of turned upside down right now due to a project that was supposed to be done, and it hasn't been done yet, so I don't have my gamer's paradise anymore. I don't have what I used to refer to as the rad pad. All the shelves with all the games on them are turned around and moved away from the windows, so I can't really check. But there are several other games from the makers of Kingsfield 2, at least one or two other Kingsfield games, and then a couple other similar style, as in first-person magic and swords and sorcery kind of games. I'd like to get all of the rest of the Kingsfield games into my collection at some point, but I don't think any of them will ever rise to the occasion like Kingsfield 2 did. When I lived in Montana, I spent many, many hours playing this game, and that's why it's on my list. So, if you're a PlayStation owner and you like this genre of games, check out Kingsfield and Kingsfield 2, especially the second one. And, yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to, like I said, probably make another video here real quick, so there'll be a couple of them today to make up for days that I've missed. And that's it for this. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.